Today, I found another film that has helped many people overcome difficulties. If you ever find yourself sensing that your current situation is dire, do not hesitate, watch this film carefully from beginning to end. It can truly help you gain a significant fortune. Due to his family's extreme poverty, Reed dropped out of school at 15 to work as an ice delivery boy. Beyond his strenuous daily work, he frequently endured insults from affluent peers.
Come on, let's go!
Their disparagement often left him in awkward and undignified situations. While others at 15 enjoyed luxury cars and beautiful companions, he was relegated to dirty and exhausting labor. Though indignant, Reed remained helpless in the face of such stark realities. Just as he seethed with frustration, a tattered newspaper in the weeds caught his eye. It featured the legendary story of billionaire Andrew. He, too, was 15 years old then, having endured discrimination and humiliation, yet through his efforts, he ultimately became a billionaire. This singular commonality ignited a passionate fervor within Reed. He vowed to achieve success just like Andrew. Returning to his humble home, he immediately shared his aspirations with his father. He believed he was the next Andrew, destined to become a billionaire himself. However, his father looked utterly annoyed, promptly dousing his hopes with a bucket of cold water.
You ain't ever gonna be rich. The only thing you're ever gonna be able to count on is coming up on the short end. That's what was handed me by my daddy, and I'm sorry, but that's all you're ever gonna get from me.
His father's dismissiveness left Reed profoundly disappointed. While he dared not defy his father openly, a fierce spirit of defiance simmered within him. That night, observing his gravely ill, bedridden mother, Reed's desire for success became even more urgent. To avoid being confined to his meager household, he made a momentous decision, to leave home. Although he had no idea where he would go next, he understood clearly that one less mouth to feed meant more money saved for his mother's medicine.
No matter what Daddy says, I don't accept being poor as my destiny. I know my fortune's out there somewhere, and the next time he sees me, I'll be a rich man.
At that moment, Reed held but one conviction, that when he returned, he would be a wealthy man. Yet, he could not have known then that this departure would be his final glimpse of his mother. With the help of an older black man, Reed managed to climb onto a train heading into the distance. After a day and a night of arduous travel, they passed through a remote town in Texas. Without a word, the older black man leaped off. When Reed hesitantly jumped down, the man was already nowhere to be seen. Aimless, he could only follow passers-by, eventually arriving at a nearby farm. Fortunately, the farm owner was recruiting workers there. To secure a place to stay, Reed had no choice but to desperately showcase his abilities, hoping to land the job.
Mister, hey, I'm your man. I can carry 50 pounds of ice up 3 stories.
The farm owner was instantly amused by Reed. He liked positive people, and ultimately decided to keep Reed. The work on the farm involved the strenuous task of driving stakes, which was clearly unsuitable for the small-framed Reed. His stakes were either loose or fell over with a mere push.
Maybe Mr. Early can have you build him a rabbit fence next.
Reed possessed an inherent spirit of defiance. To match the workload of others, he continued diligently reinforcing his work even when his peers were resting. The young man who had seen him earlier, admiring his effort, brought him water to quench his thirst. Being of a similar age, the two quickly became acquainted. Through conversation, Reed learned that Gus was originally from a wealthy family. However, 2 years prior, due to an economic downturn, the bank had repossessed their family land. His current dream was to revive his ancestral business and then earn enough to buy out that very bank. At that moment, two young men of the same age, sharing similarly ambitious dreams, formed an inexplicable bond. As night fell, watching his fellow workers playing cards together, Reed found himself once again lost in thought. He understood that working for others offered no future, much like his coworkers who, despite being decades old, still barely scraped by on a meager few dollars a day. Consequently, Reed decisively approached the farm owner and asked how he had achieved his success. The owner did not refuse. He gestured for Reed to sit down and slowly revealed the secret to his prosperity.
Success takes a lot of things, son. A lot of things working together. I guess you don't want to be a sheep. You want to be the bellwether.
The owner's words left Reed pensive, and he immediately envisioned an opportunity to prove himself. He proposed to the owner, asking if the money saved by completing his work ahead of schedule could be rewarded to him.
I do like you, son, but it ain't gonna happen.
We'll see.
Upon waking, the coworkers discovered Reed was gone, and their first thought was that he had run away. However, when they arrived at the worksite, they found Reed had been working there all night. Not only that, but he had also devised a more efficient method of working. Usually, everyone worked independently, but this time, Reed suggested they help each other. 6 people would be divided into 2 groups of 3, working like an assembly line. This approach would not only increase efficiency but also allow them to receive their wages sooner. Under his detailed plan, what typically took 3 days of work was astonishingly completed in just 1 day. And when payday arrived, the owner kept his promise, paying them double the wages of the others.
I've never seen this much money in one place in my life.
You were the bellwether, kid.
In this way, Reed earned his first significant sum of money through his ingenuity. However, he did not rush to spend it. Instead, he immediately sent $20 back to his mother, who urgently needed medicine. Just as he was contemplating his next move, a man wearing a golden belt suddenly caught his attention. Anyone wearing a golden belt was certainly a person of wealth or high status. Reed immediately inquired about the secret to his prosperity. Seeing the boy's admiration, the man proudly told him that Texas was full of gold, but Reed simply wasn't looking deep enough. The clever Reed immediately understood the man's meaning. Oil, wasn't it? Although the other party smiled and remained silent, it only solidified Red's inner resolve. As he pondered how to enter the oil industry, a beautiful girl suddenly caught his eye. It was as if fate had mysteriously drawn them together. The girl, too, was instantly captivated by the handsome young man, Red. She not only initiated a greeting with Red but also invited him to the school's junior prom.
You're a teen, right?
Faced with a girl's invitation for the first time, Red, despite his shyness, did not want to miss this opportunity. So, using his last few coins, he acquired a clean outfit and arrived at the dance as promised. The girl's name was Hannah, the school's highly acclaimed belle. Countless wealthy scions flocked around her, including the very rich second-generation heir who had once humiliated him. Despite such pressures, Hannah's beauty rendered him utterly enthralled. Upon meeting, he couldn't control himself and spoke his heart.
I think I want to marry you.
Anna smiled sweetly but did not refuse him. In her heart, this naive young man also made her heart flutter. After a day of burgeoning affection, Red returned to the school gates to wait for Hannah after classes. However, confronted by the arrogant rich kids, Red appeared more like a country bumpkin from the countryside. Facing their mockery, the unyielding Red retorted directly.
We gotta go.
Hey, learn some manners, eh? Someday this hayseed's gonna be a billionaire.
Hannah, we gotta go. Maybe Daddy Warbucks there can drive you home in his limousine.
Fine, just go already.
Although Anna knew Red's dream of becoming a billionaire was unrealistic, in comparison, the arrogance of the wealthy heirs was far more repulsive to her. After driving away the rich heirs, Anna took Red to the principal's office. She believed that an ambitious young man like Red should make a mark at school. However, no sooner had Anna voiced her thoughts than Red immediately rejected them. He considered studying a complete waste of time, noting that many wealthy individuals hadn't spent their time on academics. Furthermore, he boasted that he could easily get into a prestigious university if he simply put his mind to it. Seeing that the principal still underestimated him, Red challenged Anna to give him any 5-digit arithmetic problem. In just 5 seconds, Red instantly calculated the correct answer.
4,457,419.
Anna and the principal were instantly dumbfounded. It turned out Red wasn't just boasting. Not only that, but he also noticed at a glance that the principal suffered from a skin condition. The culprit behind the illness was the tree next to him. It was the allergen secreted by its sap that caused the principal's eczema.
You're educated. You make, what, $1,700 a year? In this little nowhere Texas town, I'm sorry, sir, I want more.
Faced with Red's defiant attitude, Anna, at this point, grew somewhat annoyed. She felt that Reed's constantly competitive demeanor subtly masked his true self. He simply didn't trust anyone, not even Anna. With that, she left in a huff.
I would have believed in you, Red.
Just as Anna thought she would never see Reed again, he unexpectedly appeared in their class the very next day. Anna exchanged a surprised, joyful smile with him. At that moment, an invisible affection slowly began to unfold between them. In the days that followed, Reed and Anna found more opportunities to be alone together. Their feelings for each other progressed rapidly during this time. Anna even invited him to her home. In that innocent age of love, even a cup of milk tea was enough to make them feel blissfully happy. Reed used his savings to buy a beautiful plastic ring. Although they weren't yet at the stage of discussing marriage, in their hearts, they had already recognized each other as their one and only. However, just as the two were envisioning their sweet life together, news suddenly arrived from the front line. War had broken out. Japan had attacked Pearl Harbor. This meant a war was about to begin. Although Reed didn't know where Pearl Harbor was, his first thought was to enlist and defend his homeland. He secretly enlisted without telling his girlfriend. It wasn't until he was about to depart that he finally broke the news to Anna. Anna was furious upon hearing this. She knew well that going to war was a matter of life and death. Yet, no matter how much she objected, Reed's resolve was unwavering.
How can I become my own man if I don't go? How can I ever be worthy of getting my share if I'm not willing to go fight for it?
So selfish.
Selfish?
At this point, no amount of persuasion from Anna could change anything. Reed was determined to go to war. Despite a myriad of worries and reluctance in her heart, Anna could only watch him leave. Soon, Reed joined the main forces heading to the front lines. On the battlefields ravaged by relentless shelling, countless lives vanished every second. During a mission to deliver a message to a position, the new recruit was too timid to go. Reed snatched the envelope and unhesitatingly took on the task himself. For in his lexicon, every difficulty was an opportunity for advancement. In the time that followed, driven by his fearless spirit, he excelled in completing various dangerous missions for the unit. 10 years passed in the blink of an eye. After his discharge, he had amassed considerable wealth through his military achievements. At this moment, he still had not forgotten his youthful dream, to become a billionaire. So, he used his savings to buy a drilling rig, intending to continue his pursuit of oil. However, despite his immense confidence, the process was fraught with difficulties. He and his partners drilled hundreds of deep holes, yet they remained empty-handed. Workers came and went in shifts, all believing Red was merely wasting everyone's time. After prolonged setbacks, even Red began to lose heart. He had invested all his assets into oil development, and his own family was nearly struggling to make ends meet. Every time he returned home to his children, a sense of guilt would weigh on his heart. His only comfort, however, was that Anna remained by his side, unwavering.
Since there's nothing you can do about it right now, how about investing in us?
What are you talking about?
I know you think it's all about bank accounts and oil wells, but it's not. It's right out there.
It was only then that Red realized how long it had been since he had truly spent time with his children, all in the name of success. So, for the first time, he played baseball with his son. His son asked him to teach him how to throw a curveball. But Red himself didn't know how.
Keep your eye on.
Can you teach me how to throw a curve?
I don't know how to throw a curve.
Well, someone's got to know. What you call 'em?
Yeah. An expert.
Yeah.
His son's words seemed to awaken Red. He had been blindly pursuing oil wells without any understanding of geology. Wouldn't it be much simpler to consult an oil expert? Scrambling to gather enough money, he hired an oil prospector. The prospector didn't seem entirely trustworthy, but a desperate Red had no choice but to take a chance. The man was seen operating a leveling instrument, then fiddling with a headset. Just as everyone concluded he was unreliable, the very next moment.
Red!
At that moment, all their excitement was beyond words. They could hardly believe that Red had truly struck oil. What covered him was not mere oil stains, but rather the adornments of a promising future.
Are we gonna be rich now, Dad?
Oh, Billy boy. Billy boy, are we gonna be rich? We're gonna be stinking rich! Stinking rich!
From that moment on, they would no longer have to worry about money. Their preliminary estimates indicated that the land held at least 50 million barrels of oil. At the current price of $2 per barrel, Red's dream of becoming a billionaire was within reach. Yet, as he was envisioning a prosperous life, a crisis was already unfolding before him. Envying Red's immense profits from oil development, the local landowners sued him. The reason given was that their land deal did not include oil extraction rights.
I got proof you've been cheating me out of my mineral rights on this land.
Although Red maintained a strong facade, the subpoena in his hand forced him to reconsider. Now, he had no choice but to find a more formidable lawyer, or all his dreams would vanish into thin air. He firmly believed that professional matters must be handled by professionals. He immediately called the most renowned law school. He sought the most brilliant and talented lawyer there. On the day of the trial, as soon as Reed's lawyer, Wayne, arrived, he was immediately met with ridicule from the farm owners' side. In an America where black people faced widespread discrimination, they did not believe he could make any significant impact. Seemingly accustomed to such discrimination, Wayne paid it no mind. After merely understanding the situation from Reed, he immediately devised a counter-strategy.
As I was saying and pulling the records, I noticed that my client purchased the land and mineral rights from your client in a land swap more than 2 years ago. So, maybe we should wait till the judge gets here before we...
Just answer the question.
All right, if you insist. The deed was recorded exactly 2 years and 2 months ago. Texas law says that the statute of limitation in mineral rights dispute is 2 years. On the nose.
Please tell me you knew that.
With just a few words, the opposing side's formation instantly crumbled. Even before the trial began, the opposition had already lost. This instantly made Reed look at him with new admiration. His reputation as a brilliant lawyer was indeed well-deserved. Thereupon, Reed immediately hired him on the spot, offering shares for his services as a part-time legal advisor. Faced with such a substantial offer, Wayne, of course, had no reason to refuse. With the addition of the brilliant lawyer, Reed's business ventures proceeded smoothly, one might say. Over the next few decades, he acquired one farm after another. Relying on his unique vision and continuous development, he swiftly established his own oil empire. As his assets grew, his personal wealth also soared. And he moved another step closer to his dream of becoming a billionaire. However, as he aged, his children gradually grew into adulthood. Due to the aura of a wealthy family, these children all became idle and dissolute scions. Not only did they live extremely luxuriously, but they also had no life plans whatsoever, aside from constantly asking for money.
They never see you.
When they do, you just throw cash at them.
I came home to repack. I got a meeting in Tulsa about the refinery.
Reed saw all of this, yet at that moment, he simply could not extricate himself. The closer he came to a billionaire's net worth, the more fervent his ambition grew. Presently, he considered his most crucial task to be a trip to Tulsa, where he intended to acquire a struggling oil refinery on the verge of bankruptcy. Should he secure this factory, he would effectively monopolize nearly the entire oil industry chain in that region. At that point, he would be but a single step away from his goal of becoming a billionaire. However, to his utter surprise, this time the other party thwarted him. Due to the rapid advancements in his career over the past few years, Reed had grown accustomed to the arrogance that came with his ever-increasing wealth. His condescending attitude, in particular, made the other party especially resentful. Consequently, the other party deliberately created difficulties for him.
And usually I need to meet the people I'm doing business with in order to make my determination. Problem is, you don't personally impress me. You're rude, self-serving, and greedy. I will consider your proposal, and I'll get back to you just as quickly as I can.
He had initially thought the other party was just putting on airs, believing that this refinery, on the brink of bankruptcy, would eventually be sold to him. However, to Reed's utter surprise, he and Wayne waited for half a month at the hotel without any response. With Christmas Eve, a time for family reunion, fast approaching, Reed and Wayne couldn't help but grow anxious.
Red, do you consider me a friend?
Of course I do.
Well, as your friend, let's fly home tonight.
I told you I'm not leaving till I get that refinery.
Look, you could wait till the cows come home, but I'm not missing Christmas with my family. Now, you could dock my pay, you could fire me, you could do whatever you want. But I'm heading to the airport, and I'm taking the company plane home.
Wayne could wait no longer. In his heart, family was always more important than making money. Even if Reed were to dock his pay or fire him, he had to go back and reunite with his family that night. After Wayne left, Reed was the only one remaining in the room. He had considered going home for Christmas, but this refinery was too crucial for his success. Just as he wondered if he would ever secure the refinery, someone knocked on his door early the next morning.
Strang.
It turned out the other party had already drafted the contract on the very first day Reed arrived. He simply wanted to temper Reed's arrogance when he witnessed it. This was just like himself 20 years ago. Without experiencing some setbacks, one would never truly understand their own capabilities. The next day, Reed's company was featured on the front pages of major newspapers. After acquiring the Tulsa refinery, his company finally soared to become a billion-dollar enterprise. This also meant that his childhood dream of becoming a billionaire had finally come true. At this moment, he could barely contain his excitement. He turned, looking for someone to share his joy with, but as he gazed around, he found himself utterly alone.
I'm a billionaire.
Joy, mixed with a wave of loneliness, washed over him, and he hastily packed his belongings, eager to return and reunite with his family. But just then, a call came through to his hotel room. The moment he answered, a devastating piece of news instantly froze him in place. On his way back, Wayne had suffered a severe car accident, both of his kidneys were shattered, and his life could only be sustained through hemodialysis. When he rushed to the hospital and saw his dying friend on the bed, Reed finally, belatedly, understood that in his pursuit of becoming a billionaire, he had always lost more than he gained.
You've been with me for such a long time. So much. You've been a friend to me.
Only at this moment did Reed truly realize that family bonds and loved ones were the most precious treasures in life. While reviewing Wayne's medical records, Reed suddenly discovered that their blood types were identical. Reed decisively formed a bold idea in his mind and, without hesitation, donated one of his kidneys to Wayne. This was not only a way to repay his friend but also a means of safeguarding another kind of wealth in his life.
I think that means you're a billionaire. Yeah, it does. How does that feel? All that time thinking about it and dreaming about it, and when it finally happened, it just happened. The world kept moving on forward. There was no one there to share it with me. You did what you said you would. You should take pride in that, Red. I got all the money in the world. And I traded everything that was important to me. It's not too late, Red. What if it is, Hamilton? My kids are a mess. My wife thinks I'm lost. You could change that. You could change that, Red.
After this incident, Reed finally saw his current situation clearly. The value of life is by no means solely determined by the amount of wealth. The warmth of family and the companionship of loved ones are the true, invisible riches. After being hospitalized, the first thing Reed did was gather all his family members. First, he apologized to his wife and children. He deeply regretted his long-standing neglect and insufficient care for them. He then announced that all future company profits would be channeled into a charitable foundation. This money would be used to provide aid to those in society who were most in need. Seeing the displeased expressions on his children's faces, Reed was filled with disappointment. Afterwards, he gave each of them $10,000, hoping they would use the money to help those in need.
For what? For the chance to learn the gift of giving.
No strings attached.
We hope that you'll use this money to help others.
However, the outcome was exactly as the Reeds had expected. Upon receiving the money, the children immediately beamed with joy. They instantly dismissed their father's teachings, and at that moment, they were already planning how to squander the huge sum. Seeing their children behaving this way, the Reeds were even more disappointed.
All we can do is try and hope that their hearts change. It will take patience.
I've never been very patient.
Just then, the youngest son suddenly returned. He returned the money to his father. The son stated that he had enough money, and hoped to deposit the $10,000 into a foundation to help those in need. Seeing his sensible youngest son, Reed felt immensely relieved and gratified. His past neglect of his family had led to his children's rebellious nature today. He had seized every opportunity in life, yet he had overlooked the most easily obtained wealth, the affection of his family. Although only his youngest son passed his test this time, for him, it was already the best possible outcome. In the time to come, his youngest son would also follow in his footsteps, continuing the philanthropic work he had yet to complete. In reality, our lives might be like Reed's oil wells. You never know if the next moment will bring forth a fountain of wealth or face the desolation of depletion. But it is precisely this uncertainty that constitutes the charm of life. We cannot predetermine the script of destiny, but we can choose our attitude towards life. Will we bow to poverty like Reed's father, or, like Reed, make flowers bloom in the mud? But wealth is ultimately fleeting, the courage forged in struggle, the family love awakened after separation, the dreams that illuminate the path through confusion, these are the most magnificent metals etched into life. When we look back from life's end, what brings a smile to our lips is never the numbers in a bank account, but rather the moments nourished with sincerity and warmed by love.